Example x2. Suppose that angle theta is in quadrant 2 and sine theta equals 2/3. Find the values of the other 5 trig functions. Okay, so there are 2 ways to do this. There are 2 ways to do a lot of these problems. Geometrically means you do it by drawing a picture. Algebraically means you do it by using equations and stuff. Okay. I like when they describe a picture, I like drawing that picture. Okay. They're talking something about quadrant 2. And so I know something's going down in quadrant 2 here. All right. The only other thing that they give me, they say sine theta is 2/3. Okay. What you're going to need is you're going to need to remember the ratio for sine theta. Remember how sine goes with y? You got to remember the ratio y over r. Y over r. Okay, so they just gave me a ratio y over r. And so basically what happens is we're going to have some angle theta putting me into the second quadrant. Okay? So we've got some angle theta into the second quadrant. But what ends up happening is there's a point here, and that ends up defining a right triangle in that quadrant. Okay? But the fact that they gave us this ratio means they gave us the y side of my triangle, and they gave me the r side of my triangle. Okay, now remember, you don't really see it here, but if you kept rotating that point, around, you'd have a circle. And so that's why that's a radius. That's an r number. Okay. So, to me, it makes sense to do Pythagorean theorem and find that missing side. All right, find that missing side. And so, let's call that x. If we did Pythagorean, it would be x squared plus 2 squared equals 3 squared. Or x squared plus 4 equals 9. Subtract 4, that's 5. X squared equals 5. And when we solve that equation, remember back to algebra, when you solve it, there's actually 2 roots. It's plus or minus square root of 5. Okay, a lot of students will forget that, but that's plus or minus square root of 5. But here's how I'm going to handle that. Since we're in quadrant 2, that x value is going to be the negative value. Okay? We know x's are negative in the second quadrant, and so I'm going to pick the negative version of that root. That's my x. Okay? So if I had x and y and r, I should be able to come up with all 6 trig functions. Well, I've already got sine theta. Sine theta equals 2/3. You could have done cosecant theta without doing anything. We know cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so cosecant theta is going to be what? 3/2. Good. But cosine theta, we would have needed that x value. Okay? You have to remember the ratio for cosine is x over r. So x over r, we just found that x number, and the r number was 3. So negative square root of 5 over 3. Okay. Then, if I was going to do that reciprocal, secant theta, we would have negative 3 over square root of 5. Take that reciprocal. And then we have to clean that up. We have to rationalize the denominator. That is going to be negative 3 square root of 5, over square root of 25, which is 5. Then tangent theta, remember the ratio, tangent theta is y over x, right? Y over x. So tangent theta is y over x. The y number was 2, and the x number was square root of 5, negative square root of 5. And so then we would need to rationalize that. We get negative 2 square root of 5 over 5. Negative 2 square root of 5 over 5. So then cotangent theta, remember cotangent theta is the reciprocal of tangent theta. I'm not looking at the red version though. Okay, if I look here, if I take the reciprocal of that, I'm going to put a square root on the bottom and have to re-rationalize, which is fine, you can do that. I just think it's going to be easier if I just flip that black number. Okay? If I just flip that black number, I'll have negative square root of 5 over 2. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Okay? So there are your 6 trig function values. Of course, they gave us one of them. We only need to come up with the other 5. Does it match up with our saying of all students take calculus? If we were in the second quadrant, sine and cosecant should be positive, right? Sine and cosecant should be positive. Is everything else negative? Is everything else negative? Okay, it's gonna help for you to double check that. Make sure you don't mess up on the pluses and minuses.